The Nightly Business Report.
Good evening. Tonight, according to Treasury authorities, Sri Lanka used more than 20% of its borrowing ceiling, or 1.5 trillion rupees, to pay down its debt in the first few months of 2025. Today, in the Presidential Secretariat, the Ministry of Urban Development, Construction and Housing held a progress assessment meeting on projects funded by the current budget. The Colombo Stock Exchange's all-share price index fell 0.23% today, breaking a three-day gaining trend. A reduction in market activity was indicated by turnover. And as news of progress in tariff negotiations between the US President Donald Trump and Chinese leader Xi Jinping was counterbalanced by a decline in Tesla shares, Wall Street concluded the day lower.
From Studio 24, here's Anuradhi Vikramasinghe.
A very good evening and thank you for joining us. Sri Lanka spent 1.5 trillion rupees on debt repayments in early this year, using over 20% of its borrowing limit, according to Treasury officials. Interest payments accounted for 796 billion rupees, while 352 billion rupees went to principal repayments.
Sri Lanka spent 705 billion rupees on domestic interest payments out of the total interest paid by April 2025. The country has utilized 20.5% of its approved 3,800 billion rupees borrowing limit, with 654 billion rupees borrowed domestically and 120 billion from foreign sources. By the end of April, 107 billion rupees worth of treasury bills were retired, while treasury bonds worth 760 billion rupees were issued net. Domestic debt stock stood at 19.3 trillion rupees by April, with foreign debt at 11.2 trillion rupees by March. Treasury guarantees issued reached 1,515 billion rupees, including 910 billion rupees for foreign sources. Sri Lanka's GDP projections for 2025 has been received down to 32 trillion rupees from the initial 33 trillion rupees estimated. This downward revision may reduce revenue collection and expenditure by 150 billion rupees for the year. Officials emphasize that the need for continued fiscal discipline to manage debt sustainability is quite essential. They also highlighted efforts to boost economic growth amid challenging global conditions.
6 parties have submitted bids for Sri Lanka's port community system, a key project aimed at digitizing port operations and improving efficiency. The PCS is seen as a major step towards implementing a national single window and modernizing the country's paper-heavy logistics processes. Initially delayed under the previous government, the project has now reached a critical milestone with the bid submissions. The Port of Colombo, which handles over 90% of the nation's cargo, has long struggled with inefficiencies due to manual systems. The PCS will streamline data exchange and automate port procedures under an 8-year managed services agreement. While industry experts welcome the progress, some stakeholders have voiced caution over the selection process. A progress review meeting on projects by the Ministry of Urban Development, Construction and Housing under the current budget was held today at the Presidential Secretariat, chaired by President Anurakumar Dissanayake.
The meeting focused on progress of urban development projects aimed at making Sri Lankan an attractive tourism destination. Discussions also covered ongoing canal purification and solid waste management initiatives in Colombo district. Water supply projects and housing assistance programs were reviewed during the session. President Dissanayake emphasized the importance of completing all projects within the originally planned schedules. He instructed officials to avoid any delays in project implementation. The meeting was amended by key officials including Minister Anura Karunatilaka and secretaries for the President's office and relevant ministries. Senior officials from the Ministries of Finance and Urban Development also participated in this discussion.
Sugar importers have urged President and Finance Minister Anurakumar Dissanayake not to raise the current 50 rupee per kilo import tax, warning it could trigger price hikes and market disruptions. They noted the existing tax introduced under the previous government already generates 3 billion rupees in monthly revenue from approximately 60,000 metric tons of sugar imports. Importers allege that large-scale players with existing stockpiles are lobbying for a tax hike to 80 rupees, which could unfairly boost their profits by 1.8 billion rupees. Smaller importers awaiting new shipments say they would be unable to compete and fear being pushed out of the market. They also warn that consumers would ultimately bear the burden, with prices of essential goods like tea, sweets and beverages expected to rise. Locally produced brown sugar is not suitable for industrial use and only meets around 10% of national demand. Let's take a short commercial break. This is the Nightly Business Report. Welcome back to the Nightly Business Report. The Colombo Stock Exchange's all-share price index slipped 0.23% today, ending a three-day winning streak as profit-taking set in. Turnover also fell below the monthly average, signaling a slowdown in market activity. For further insights, we speak with Akna Tendakon from First Capital Holdings.
Thank you, Anuradhi. Today, the Colombo Stock Exchange took a breather from the intense rally that gripped the market in the past couple of sessions. The SPI was somewhat stagnant, ending the day at 17,394, having dropped about 40 points during the day after registering consistent record high levels during the past couple of sessions. Even though the SPI climbed during the early hours of trading and stayed elevated amid some volatility, the index dropped steadily during the second half of the day. Sampath Bank, Haley's, Cargill's, Brown's Investments and Commercial Bank emerged as the top counters that exerted downward pressure on the SPI. Today's turnover stood at 4.2 billion rupees, down from yesterday's 5.6 billion rupee level. Today's turnover level is also below the monthly average, which stands at around 4.7 billion rupees. Capital goods sector led today's turnover with a share of 18%. This was followed by the material sector and the diversified financial sector, which produced a joint contribution of 29%. Thank you.
The Colombo Stock Exchange showed mixed performance this week, with the all-share price index rising steadily over 3 sessions before slipping 0.23% today due to profit-taking. The S&P SL20 index followed a similar pattern. And for further insights on this, we speak with Shahana Kanagaratnam from First Capital Holdings.
Thank you, Anuradhi. The Colombo Stock Exchange commenced the week on a strong note, sustaining its upward momentum through to Thursday before experiencing a downturn following midday trading on Friday. Investor sentiment remained broadly positive during the week, underpinned by heightened participation from retail investors, while high-net-worth individuals adopted a more cautious approach. Market activity was notably strong, with daily turnover surpassing Rs 5 billion across 4 sessions during the week. The all-share price index achieved all-time highs on 3 consecutive trading days, driven by optimistic market sentiment. However, this upward trajectory reversed on Friday, with the ASPI declining by 41 points and daily turnover moderating to Rs 4.2 billion, marking the first significant pullback in approximately 2 weeks. From a sectoral perspective, investor interest was primarily concentrated in capital goods, diversified financials, and banking. In summary, while the market started the week on a bullish trajectory, it closed in negative territory at 17,394 points. Thank you.
Gold prices rose today, heading for a positive week as economic uncertainty fueled haven demand ahead of a key U.S. payrolls report. Spot gold increased 0.5% to $3,368.86 an ounce, while August gold futures also climbed 0.5% to $3,392.27 per ounce. The precious metal, along with broader commodities, benefited from a weaker dollar, which hovered near 2-year lows and amid limited positive signals from the U.S. economy. A sharp sell-off on Wall Street, sparked by escalating public feud between President Donald Trump and Elon Musk, further fueled risk aversion. Despite Trump's mention of potential positive calls with Chinese President Xi Jinping, which could revive US-China trade negotiations, investor caution remained high. Oil prices slipped slightly today but are poised for their first weekly gain in 3 weeks following renewed trade talks between US President Donald Trump and Chinese leader Xi Jinping. Brent crude futures fell 0.2% to $65.23 a barrel, while US West Texas Intermediate crude also dropped 0.2% to $63.25 after gaining about 50 cents yesterday. Despite the small daily declines, both benchmarks are on track for weekly gains, Brent up 2.1% and WTI rising 4% after 2 consecutive weeks of losses. It was confirmed that the trade discussions occurred at Washington's request. President Trump described the call as having a very positive conclusion, expressing optimism about the trade relationship and prospects for a deal between the world's 2 largest economies. The renewed talks have boosted hopes for stronger economic growth and increased demand for oil globally. The Sri Lankan rupee saw a slight appreciation against the US dollar at commercial banks today compared to the previous day. According to the commercial bank, both the buying and selling rates for the dollar have eased marginally. This subtle shift reflects a modest strengthening of the rupee in the currency market. Let's take a closer look at how the Sri Lankan rupee is performing against other major global currencies today. Short break now. This is the Nightly Business Report. Welcome back. BYD, alongside John Keel CG Auto, has launched the Shark 6 in Sri Lanka, introducing the country's first plug-in hybrid pickup. Unveiled in Colombo, the vehicle combines off-road capability with advanced hybrid technology and premium SUV features.
BYD, in partnership with John Keel CG Auto, hosted an exclusive Shark 6 Experience Day in Colombo, showcasing the new plug-in hybrid pickup. Media and influencers tested the vehicle on a custom-built off-road track featuring steep climbs and uneven terrains. The event highlighted Shark 6's advanced control, rugged design and off-road capabilities. Liu Shilang, BYD's Asia-Pacific Auto Sales Division General Manager, expressed confidence in the model's appeal and BYD's commitment to expanding its lineup in Sri Lanka. The Shark 06 is built on BYD's DMO Super Hybrid platform, combining strength, stability and intelligent performances. It features a dual-motor, all-wheel-driven system with 4 terrain modes and a unique outdoor mode for powering external devices. With high-strength steel underbody protection, the vehicle is designed for both rugged use and versatile everyday driving.
Lanka Hospitals Corporation PLC announced the resignation of Dr. M. Nilupul Pereira as chairman and non-independent non-executive director. Dr. Pereira was appointed to the board on the 5th of December last year, following the Nomination and Governance Committee's recommendations. He assumed the role of chairman on the same day. His resignation was made with immediate effect. Dr. Pereira's tenure on the board lasted just over 6 months. The company has yet to announce a successor for the chairman position. Lanka Hospitals thanked Dr. Pereira for his valuable contributions during his tenure. The board is committed to ensuring a smooth transition and maintaining strong governance moving forward. Cinnamon Life secured the number 2 spot in LMD's New Brands Annual 2025, marking a major milestone for the brand. This recognition underscores its growing influence as a key driver of innovation and lifestyle in Colombo's urban scene.
Cinnamon Life ranked number 2 on LMD New Brand Annual 2025, highlighting its rapid rise in Sri Lanka's market. The ranking is based on research conducted by Pepper Cube Consultants, commissioned by LMD. The study surveyed a balanced group of readers from multiple provinces across Sri Lanka in January 2025. Over the 43 brand categories were evaluated on preferences, trust and recognition. Cinnamon Life stood out as a cultural catalyst, offering curated experiences and international standard dining into Colombo. Padmi Fernando, Director of Sales and Marketing, expressed pride in recognition and the brand's connection with the community. This achievement marks a significant milestone in Cinnamon Live's ongoing journey to shape Colombo's urban landscapes.
Sony, in collaboration with Camera LK, has appointed Sri Lankan wildlife photographer Lakshita Karunaratne as the Sony Regional Ambassador for Wildlife Photography. He becomes the first Sri Lankan to receive this prestigious title, representing the South and Southeast Asia region. The announcement was made at a ceremonial signing attended by Sony, Camera LK and members of Sri Lanka's creative community. Lakshita's work will be featured across Sony's platforms, highlighting his exceptional talent and commitment to wildlife storytelling. Sony's Bae Ji-hoon praised his unique vision and role in promoting conservation through photography. His appointment is expected to boost Sri Lanka's global profile in nature-based tourism and visual storytelling. United Motors Lanka plc has marked a significant financial recovery for the 2024-2025 financial year, recording a profit of 73 million rupees after years of losses as Sri Lanka's government lifted a long-standing ban on vehicle imports earlier this year.
UML chairperson Devaka Kure described the lifting of the import ban as a significant and positive development, allowing the company to operate without restrictions for the first time in 5 years. The group reported a 1.7% revenue increase to 11.7 billion rupees for the year, driven by disciplined financial management and strong performances from Dutch Lanka trialers, and this is of course acquiring in 2023. The import ban imposed during Sri Lanka's foreign exchange crisis was lifted in February by President and Finance Minister Anurakumara Dissanayake, easing pressure on the automotive sector. In response to past restrictions, UML focused on local vehicle assembly, inventory control and expanding service offerings while reintroducing Mitsubishi buses and trucks. The company also diversified into Maldives market and expanded its lubricant and tyre segments with plans to launch electric vehicles next year.
Mooncake Apparel Private Limited was honoured as the Best Fashion and Lifestyle Brand of the Year at the Iconic Awards 2025 in Bangkok, Thailand. Based in Horana, the company is well known in Sri Lanka's apparel industry for offering stylish, high-quality garments at factory-direct prices. Mooncake Apparel manufactures and distributes a wide range of men's and women's clothing, including trousers, t-shirts, shirts and sports kits. Each product is made with premium fabrics, balancing modern style, comfort and durability. The company also offers various sizes, colors and custom order options to meet diverse customer needs. Over the years, Mooncake Apparel has earned a strong reputation for combining quality with affordability. Let's take a short commercial break. Global business updates coming on the other side. This is the Nightly Business Report. Welcome back to the Nightly Business Report. Most Asian stock markets traded in a narrow range today as investors awaited further signals from ongoing trade discussions between the US and key regional economies, particularly China. Japan led regional gains with the Nikkei 225 rising 0.5% and the Topix up 0.6%, buoyed by optimism despite recent weak sending data. China's Shanghai Composite and the CSI 300 were flat, while Hong Kong's Hang Seng slipped 0.4%. Broader markets were range-bound. Australia's ASX 200 edged down 0.1%, encountering resistance near record highs. India's Nifty 50 reversed early losses to rise 0.5% after the Reserve Bank of India surprised markets by cutting interest rates by 60 basis points. The central bank also reduced the cash reserve ratio from 4% to 3%, injecting additional liquidity into the banking system. Wall Street ended lower as a drop in Tesla shares offset news of progress in tariff talks between US President Donald Trump and Chinese leader Xi Jinping.
Wall Street's main indexes ended lower on Thursday, with the Dow shedding 0.25%, the S&P 500 sliding more than 0.5%, and the Nasdaq tumbling over 0.8%. Shares of Tesla suffered their worst one-day loss since March as the clash between CEO Elon Musk and U.S. President Donald Trump continued to escalate. Musk stepped up criticism of the president's massive tax cut bill, while Trump alleged Musk was upset because the legislation takes away tax benefits for electric vehicle purchases. Among the day's other stock moves, shares of Lululemon, down slightly at the close, plunged more than 20% in extended trading after the athletic wear company cut its annual profit outlook and forecast second quarter revenue below estimates. Shares of Brown-Forman fell 18% after the Jack Daniels maker forecast a decline in annual revenue and profit. And shares of crypto firm Circle Internet more than doubled in their stock market debut on Thursday, firing up the IPO market and likely encouraging other crypto companies to follow suit.
Budget carrier Wizz Air reported an annual operating profit that fell short of analyst expectations as capacity constraints due to grounded planes and stubbornly high costs continued to weigh on performance.
Wizz Air shares fell just under a quarter on Thursday. Investors fled the stock after the budget carrier reported yearly operating profit well below analyst expectations. The Hungarian airline said it hit just over $191 million of operating profit for the financial year. It was down close to 62% from a year ago. Wizz was hit by capacity constraints due to grounded planes and also faced stubbornly high costs. European airlines have warned of long-standing delivery delays. Wizz Air in particular has been affected by repair problems with RTX-owned Pratt & Whitney engines, which hurt its ability to increase capacity. CEO Joseph Verardi said the carrier is resilient and blamed this year's challenges on grounded planes. Europe's airlines have also pointed at uncertainty around keeping post-COVID demand, particularly with economic turmoil tied to US President Donald Trump's tariff threats.
And that wraps up today's nightly business report. We value your opinion, so please share your thoughts and feedback with us through email at feedback.ad24english@derana.lk or via WhatsApp at 076-805-7933. We'll see you again on Monday with the latest updates across the business globe. Till then, I'm Anuradhi Vikramasinghe. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good night.